we're going to be talking about reparations. Why should you support it? This is a deep subject, and so we're going to be having Jamin Mason and Khalif Mitchell. Jamin Mason is a reparationist and activist and advocate with the Negro Collective. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for sharing your platform for this mandatory and essential meeting of the minds to make this happen for people that have been oppressed since day one.
We also have Khalif Mitchell joining as well. Why is reparations needed and necessary?
It is necessary because it was a debt owed. It has been a debt owed for far too long. In our ancestors' name and in their awesome presence that's still here, we have to press forward with calling attention to this debt that the American government owes.
And Khalif?
When we're talking about reparations, and it was described in the 40 Acres and a Mule, that document itself is called Special Field Orders 15. We also had things that after the war were set up to establish us as new Americans, to be able to make our foundation from slave to American more sound. And it was also something that the government recognized as something that was bestowing upon the American Negro. The American Negroes are deserving from everything from that point when we were made American to everything up to now that may have been sequential from not having those things that would have been given.
How would you respond to people who say that the reparations should be paid to the actual people who are slaves, not their descendants?
If someone stole a motorcycle and the person that stole the motorcycle died, but the person came forward and asked for their property back, whether his son comes or not, that is still something that they would receive, because that was something that was stolen and it was property that was falsely taken from them. So that debt still has to be paid, and especially because that disparity is so clear and present to this day as to why and what happened because of those spoils of war being taken from us.
Khalif, how would you respond?
Well, that's a great point. When you're talking about the law, it is called the right of the heir. I'm owed whatever my father was owed, and he's owed whatever his father was owed. And it goes back into time, into perpetuity, because I am, in the eyes of the law, the representation of my father. So because I am their representative as their literal heir to their lineage, I'm owed the thing that they would have been owed. A public space, in the eyes of the law, the heir is the same as the ancestor, and that is the maxim of the law. So in the eyes of the law, I am my ancestor. So therefore, I am owed what they would have gotten.
And one of the things that I just wanted to share, it talks about redress and reparations for Japanese American incarceration. And this was actually signed in 1988 by Ronald Reagan. Payment for the internment of Japanese Americans.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is this too. Whenever we see compensation, that every other group is always given a monetary value in a dollar form. This is something that is always looked at as skewed with our community, especially when the American Negro demands cash reparation. It seems to be this conversation that gets muddied around saying, well, you know what, let's have programs, when all these other groups always have a denotation and a dollar value. So this notion that we can't say that we're value should not be done in a monetary form, which actually brings a devaluation, which is a cause of more injury.
Actually, I would piggyback off of what you just said, and just like when Kamala Harris, for black people, why would I do something specifically for black people? Maybe because they built this country with free slave labor and weren't paid for it. I would just add on to that and just point it out and say that the time is now, has been forever, to make this right. By doing this, you're healing the bottom of the foot, the people that have always been oppressed. Once you do that, once we heal this, once white supremacy, let's keep it 100 right here. Once white supremacy gets that silver bullet, that is the only way that we're going to be able to move forward. And once that happens, this world will get better. Abraham Lincoln was killed. Special Field Orders 15 was taken away. We got to be specific and call that what it is. That had infrastructures, that had protections for our people, They wouldn't be murdering us like they were. And they really have to look at Special Field Orders 15. And that's why the Negro Collective, that's why we press that so hard. We want that. The repair can't come any other way but through that field order, period. It's not repair unless there's cash payments to alleviate the stress and the harm that our people have went through. People with disgusting minds, people that just thought we were really truly nothing and profited off of us, off of our bodies. Being the first form of capital in America was us. And it's just like, for people to see that here in America to the Black American Negro, and really has to be called out and put on a full press mandatory mission.
Both expressed desire and support for cash reparations. Do you think it should be cash only, or do you think it should be a mix of cash and a resource-based reparations?
See, we can't have the cash without the framework. A lot of us didn't go to financial schools. That we need to have a framework of cash, very important, but understanding how to have that paid out so there's not a harsh economic toll.
That I'm going to be sharing right now the website this talks about American Union Reparations, the American Negro Resolution. First part, it says, knowledge is power. America would not be the country it is without the slave labor provided by Negro bodies. This website was created to make this knowledge accessible for all and to be a template for fellow states to file resolutions supporting the U.S. government, making our people whole. When we know better, we must do better. Should we also be looking for reparations from England as well?
Hell yes, without a doubt. That needs to be a part of that. We should go for America first. That needs to the white supremacy. The supremacy realm needs to be alleviated completely.
So I wanted to go into the economic impact of slavery, because I also have a question that's kind of tied to this as well. One of my biggest questions is, when it comes to looking for reparations, does this also include a lot of the corporations that are still in existence today that have benefited from chattel slavery?
Yes, to start knocking on their doors, because JP Morgan, they were the one insuring the slave boats. And, people on that level, they are still in action today. So yeah, if we start tort claims or some kind of claim, start pressing on them, they're going to say, hey, government, get these people off of our back. So yes, I definitely believe that is one in a multifaceted approach, which I think we need to take them all and shoot any direction we can. Yes, that is one of the directions I believe we should go.
True.
Yeah, I second that.
You both were talking about Special Field Orders number 15, whereas after the U.S. Civil War on January 12, 1865, General William
Tecumseh
and Secretary of War Edwin M. Stanton met with a group of Negro community leaders consisting of Negro Baptist and Methodist ministers from Savannah, Georgia, and they were asked, what do you want for your own people? They replied, the way we can best take care of ourselves is to have land. Whereas on January 16, 1865, Special Field Order number 15 was a military order issued during the American Civil War by General William T. Sherman. Special Field Orders number 15 was fully enforceable by wartime law. It says the sea, islands, and 330 miles of coastline from Charleston, South Carolina, to the St. Johns River in Florida, 30 miles back from the sea, will be given as spoils of war to the Negro families so that the injustices of slavery might be addressed and reparations could be made. It's basically like a legal document.
I think page 3 is the actual field order. So that's involved in that website as well. We've done a lot of the legwork. All you have to do is figure out the harms specifically to your state, put them in there, add them to it, and put it into your local senator, or make some noise and put it out there. That was the intent. Take the hard part away and give everybody the nuts and bolts to how we can fix this American problem.